Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Prince Podcast here on Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean, and joining me today, we got some different people. I'm gonna just call them my new co-host for today. We're switching the show up. We're going with the ladies today. They'll take over. But joining me first off is you heard her before on the show. She's a part of the PRN Alumni. So we want to welcome Jacqui to the show. How are you doing, Jacqui?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. And also we have a special guest here today, a young lady. Her mother's name rings out within the Prince community for sure. We all know that voice. What I'm talking about today, we want to welcome LaToya Gaines to the show. How are you, LaToya?
Hey, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And of course, your mother, Rosie Gaines, is an icon out here to us. So we salute your mother, and we salute you for coming on and joining us today. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's an honor. I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt. Now, we're actually here talking about the PRN Alumni. You guys have something coming up here in regards to Rosie Gaines, and I think, Jacqui, maybe you can explain it a little better than me fumbling through things here. So.
Oh, you never fumble, Michael. Yeah, no, we had been thinking about Rosie ever since we started this. One of our missions is to support alumni financially and acknowledge their music contribution. And with that, we found LaToya. We'd heard, Rosie had some medical issues, and we really wanted to reach out and help. So got in touch with LaToya, and we started to discussing collaboration and I had come up with the idea with the group to create a T-shirt specifically for Rosie to raise money. And we did, I talked to Steve Parke, and he says, I really want to design a shirt for that. So we came up with a T-shirt. Michael, I know you've seen it.
Yes,
in advance.
Beautiful.
And yeah, it is, isn't it? It's gorgeous. And so Steve really put really some time into it, and we're really excited on being able to help Rosie any way we can. So we created the T-shirt, as I said, and it's going to launch on Valentines Day, obviously around love. We love her and want her to know that and let her know that through this. So this is this is what we wanted to do. This is the type of things, and this is our mission, one of our missions in the foundation. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to go down really well. I think that the community is going to support. We'd love to have fan clubs around the country create different ways to, fundraise, maybe through parties and just doing some specific fundraisers for Rosie. So we'll be working on that throughout the summer as well, and starting hopefully in March and keeping it going in that part. So those are the things that we want to do to help Rosie, and specifically in that way. So we're really excited. And LaToya has been so wonderful in helping us with that. And we're just excited about it.
Okay, and let me ask too, because I know people are going to listen to this, and some people are not, they're not sure what's going on, and without putting people's business out there, of course. But this is to help raise money for medical bills, I believe, and things of that nature for Rosie Gaines. Just to be very clear, so people understand what we're talking about here. I don't know if LaToya, if you wanted to speak on that, or add anything else to that?
It's been a long battle my mom has had now with diabetes. That's been one of the really main issues of her health condition. And anybody who has ever had diabetes, it's very serious. It's it's a disease that can take a turn for the worse if you are not properly treating it or taking care of it or eating right, or, and it's just like, she's been really struggling with it to the point to where she's had really bad infections in both of her legs and her feet and things like that, to the point of almost amputation. So, it's been just like a real struggle for her, with her lifestyle, as far as when you are an artist and, you can't slow down, and so she's had diabetes for a long time now.
Okay.
And it just finally, parked her. So she has to sit and deal with it now because it's just gone on for so long without the proper care.
Got it.
So that is really important. And then, she's also battling, of course, with the loss of Prince, and she's, and with depression from that also. So, it's really sad because it's so many people with diabetes in America, and even children. So to watch this unfold, and then A Tribe Called Quest, Fife, he lost his battle with diabetes. You know what I mean? So it's very serious. And I'm just grateful that everyone is on board, and they even have my mom in their hearts, and they're thinking about her, and they're reaching out, to try to help. Like Miss Jacqueline here, she's like an angel because she just came out of nowhere, and it was like right on time. Like, oh my God, like that is so, thank you so much, because it's truly needed. The support is needed. For her to know that she's still very much loved is needed, and times like this is when you need to be able to call on your community and your peers and your fans and people who you work with to show you that support and love. And I'm just so ecstatic that she's getting that without us having to reach, you know what I mean? So we're very, very humbled by this whole thing. And the shirt is very beautiful. It's gorgeous. So it's like, I just feel so lucky right now for my mom, and she's very thankful and grateful. And she wanted to send her love out to everyone who's listening, and to you, Miss Jacqueline, and to you, Michael. She wanted me to say thank you to all of you guys for even having her in your hearts.
Well, that's an honor to me. I understand about the diabetes thing because that hits a lot of people in our community.
Yes.
That we battle with that. And so, I would just say this, and I'll let Jacqui speak. Listen, we listened to this music. The music moved us. We watched the performances. As I've said before, y'all are our heroes, our legends, our elders that we have to hold up and hold down. So this is what we're supposed to do. And when man Prince said it best, we said love for one another. So that's what we're going to do. Jacqui, when are the shirts going on sale again so people can, and where can they find them?
Yeah, they'll be able to find them at our website, prnalumni.org. They go on sale on Valentines Day, which is next Wednesday. So we're really excited about that.
Wow. And again, I have seen these shirts. And for y'all who don't know, Steve Parke, he has the beautiful book out right now, Pictures of Prince. What's the actual title of his book again? I'm sure we shout that out. I should have that in front of me.
Picturing Prince.
Picturing Prince. I have it right here. So you definitely, this is a person who, certified within the camp, and a beautiful artist, and the rendition of Rosie on that shirt is fabulous.
Isn't it?
So
it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and LaToya, I wanted to ask you, because Jacqui kind of hinted to me a little bit. Do you you've been to Paisley Park? I would take it, right? Yes.
Oh my, yes.
Understatement, right?
Oh my God. I used to terrorize Paisley Park. I was so young. I was so young when my mother was there. It was like, everything to me was it was like Wonderland. Everything I wasn't supposed to touch, I touched, and everything I wasn't supposed to do, I did, because I was a kid and I was just in the awe of things, and I really did not know how really lucky and how spoiled I was there, because they treated me like a little princess in Paisley Park. Whatever I wanted, I got to get, and I'm my mom's only child. So it was like half them trying to keep me out of the hair while they're rehearsing and, keep me occupied. But the other half was like, Prince loved kids. So it's like, whatever she wants, just give it to her. So it was just really, I was honored, like, just to be able to stomp around those grounds, and all of the musicians that came in and out of that place was so amazing. It was just so impactful, because I also do music. So it was very impactful to me to be able to watch real musicianship, come in and out like that. Like, oh, I mean, it was just wonderful. I was just wild. Like, oh my God, I was there when they did a number of video shoots. I do remember when they did do Get Off. I was kind of upset because they had all these painted, naked people around my mom, and
wait.
Andre, and I was like, hey.
Let me ask you this.
Like, no.
Let me ask you this. That's interesting. How old? You remember how old you were?
I believe when my mom first started working with Prince, I was 9 going on 10.
Wow.
But the whole thing is my mom, she's been in the industry since the 80s. Everybody don't know. Her first deal, she actually was signed to Epic Records. And her first manager was the Soul Train. Her first
Don
manager
Cornelius?
was Don Cornelius. Oh my
Wow.
God. Like, how could I have a mind fart like that?
Nah,
her first manager, Don Cornelius, her first real manager. And she got signed to Epic Records when Michael Jackson was actually signed, and he exploded with Thriller. So it was, she's been, since I've been born and I've been here, she's been active in the industry. So when she got with Prince, I was 9 going on 10. So it was just, it was just amazing for me as a child. Yes.
So I got to ask you now, you're kind of going on this, but so when she got with Prince at this time, at being 9 or 10, this was probably in 90, I don't know, this was like 89 or 88 maybe, I'm not sure what time frame.
Yeah.
Did you, as a younger child like that, but did you understand the magnitude of Prince? Yeah.
You know what? Back then I was the hugest Michael Jackson fan.
Okay.
So I was still really caught up on, you're signed to the label with Michael Jackson. And then when she told me, I'm leaving this label, I was just crushed. Like, no, like Michael Jackson. And, and then she came home and she goes, Prince signed me. And I'm like, Michael Jackson. And she was like, no, Prince signed me, and when you're a kid, the magic of Michael is strong.
I hear you. Yeah.
When I got off that plane in Minnesota, it hit me first of all, the cold air hit me. But then after that, it hit me because when I walked into Paisley Park and I saw him coming toward me, is when it really hit me. And I have to say, that look on his face, I was so intimidated. I was just like, oh my God, like, okay, it's Prince. And I get it now. Like my mom, she went from, Michael Jackson, I want Michael Jackson to be my dad, to Prince is your boss. You know what I mean? So it was, yes, I did understand that it was a huge deal because back then it was only 2 rock stars, and that was Michael and Prince. Mm-hmm. So I totally understood that she had a very important job. Yes.
Wow. And then did you, I think your mom, she went on the nude tour with Prince.
She did.
Did you? Did you go on that too, or did you stay back home?
I did not go on her first tour with her. No, I did not. They did a lot of overseas traveling, and I had to be in school. So I stayed in California with my grandmother, her first tour. And she would send us all kind of stuff. And, I was just so proud of her to see, clippings. And we got a lot of footage of them doing live stuff in Brazil and places like that as they went along. Japan, she would send home things because I'm her only child. So she made sure that I got to see, this is what mommy's not there. Mm-hmm. This is what mommy's doing. You know what I mean? Right. So, but every time they were in Minnesota, she would fly me up. I did get to miss a lot of school. And then finally she was like, I think I'm going to just move you out here and you can just go to school here because, it's too much back and forth and you missing school and things like that. And it was like, now I live in Minnesota, and it was a culture shock. And I was just like, oh my God, like what is going on? I'm from the Bay Area and we are a big melting pot of every ethnicity you could think of out here that I went to school with. So when I went to Chaska High, it was just like, whoa, it was just so different. I was like, Mom, I don't know about this. Like, I think I want to go back to California. And she was like, well, Mom's job is here in Minnesota. So you're going to have to like stick this out. So I did that,
Wow. Did you go to high school? So you went to high school out there?
Yeah, I went to high school. I went to Chaska High, and So I didn't move to Minnesota until the 10th grade. So, this is years later. You know what I mean? So, because she was traveling, they were traveling so much. And then Diamonds and Pearls, when it dropped, it was so big. It was like huge. And it was like she had no time. She had no time in the world to do anything but music. So it was either I was going to leave my friends and go be with my mom, or I was going to stay in California and miss my mom. So I decided, okay, it's been years now and I've been going back and forth. So let me just try Minnesota. And so I moved there. We lived in Chanhassen, Minnesota, and I went to Chaska High.
Wow.
So,
now you mentioned your, I love family. So you mentioned your grandmother. So she was back in the Bay Area. Is that right? Yes. My grandmother is from the South, but she moved to California when she was 14 years old. She got married and, she started her life here in California. So, my mom, my mom is the baby, and my grandmother had a huge family. She had 10 children. And my mom was the last one. So when my mom was born, she was like showing signs of being able to sing, I think before she could talk. So when she turned 4, they bought her a piano, and my mom, she could just play. She instantly could play that piano. It was crazy. Like they said that she, played with it for a little while. She found notes, and next thing they knew, she was playing. So they turned the whole family into a band, to give my mom support in music. And they made my aunt play the drums, and she was just like, oh my God, I don't want to play the drums. I'm a girl, and why are you making me do this? Everybody was complaining about it. It's the typical, turn the family into a band story. My uncles played the guitar, the bass. My aunt played the drums. The sisters who didn't have musical talent, they were the dancers. And then my mom was the lead singer, and she was the boss. Like from day one, she was the youngest, but she was bossing everybody around, and she made sure everything sounded the way she wanted it to be. And they started doing shows, and they started doing shows in a garage, charging people to come in. And then it went from the garage to them throwing parties, and it went from parties to them actually being able to go open up for James Brown, so they were like really young and they were really up and coming. And my grandmother and my grandfather decided to manage them as a family band. And they did that, I think, till my mom turned, I want to say 13 or 14 is when she started making recordings and by herself, and venturing out with other musicians. But that whole time from 4 to 14, it was a family band. It was a family affair. What was the name of the family band? Do you remember?
It was Rosie Gaines and the Gaines sisters. And then my aunties that danced, they were called the Gold Rush Girls.
Gold Rush Girls. Okay.
And I have all kinds of pictures of them with afros and bell bottoms and crop tops. And, it's so cute, little hot pants. And man, it was amazing. I was like, you guys, I wish we would have had more musicians my age in my family so we could have did the same thing, because they looked like they had a lot of fun,
Nice.
So my mom just knew her whole life, like that's what she was going to do, music.
And so your mom had this voice early. Let's not play around. Rosie Gaines can sing,
Yes, she had a very mature voice for a young age. A lot of her recordings that I listened to when she was 16, she was already sounding like, Aretha or Shaka. Like she already had her tones, and she was always on point with her notes. She was never too sharp. She was never too flat. She was very, very serious, and she was a perfectionist when it came down to her music, just like Prince.
Right.
And I think that's how come they hit it off, And she also played multiple instruments. So she can pick up any instrument and play it. I don't care what it is, from string instruments to flutes to saxophones, guitar, bass, drums, piano. Even a sitar. If she can find the notes on it, she can play it like she's been playing it her whole life. It's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Wow.
Amazing. Yes.
I always remember too, going back later, there was that performance. I think it was the Soul Train Awards, and
yes.
It was your mom was up there with Patti LaBelle.
Yes,
right?
And Stephanie Mills.
Stephanie Mills. That was like, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man,
It was a very epic moment. We were so proud of her. My grandmother was crying, and she was watching and just in tears, and the phone was ringing off the hook, and everybody was calling, your mom's on TV. I'm like, I know, we're watching it and we're recording it. Back then we had the VHS, tapes, and so we were recording it, and I mean, we were so proud of her. It was an epic moment, and she was always a huge Patty fan. She loved Miss LaBelle, and so that was really huge for her to be able to share the stage with her.
I bet, man. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yes.
And, the other thing, too, again, you think about Rosie and her voice, and I think about Prince's music, and it's like I remember when Diamonds and Pearls came out, and at the time, we didn't really know who she was, but her voice was just like golden. It was just like, who else could really be on a Prince record where you didn't question, what I'm saying? Like, well, I don't want to hear it. I mean, Rose, Diamonds and Pearls, that song, that's like a signature song, man. And her voice is just synonymous on that record. But so many of those songs on that album, the one that I can't even think of the name, Walk Don't Walk. Like, that's one of my favorite songs.
That's one of my favorites too. Yes, I used to play that on repeat.
Yeah, that's just go ahead.
It was like, I think that was one of my favorites because you can actually hear in the track that they had fun making that song. Like that song was so uplifting for me. Like when I would play it, it gave me such a good spirit and a good vibe every time I would hear it. You know what I mean? Like anytime Prince and my mom collaborated, it was special. The only one that I had a problem with was Horny Pony. What?
Hey, mom's got to do her thing too.
That's the only one I was like, Mom, no, don't say that. What are you doing? Oh my God. Yeah. So that was the only one, but all the rest of them classics. Like every time I can't wait to hear some of that music out that vault. Like, I'm like, let's hear it, because they have all kind of, him and my mom have several songs. Really? In that vault. Oh yeah. Oh my God. They would go in that studio, and it would be, sometimes days later, they would come out, and I know that they done made 1,000 songs, you know what I mean, in a night, because they work really fast together. So, wow. Yes.
So they didn't really go on too many U.S. tours per se. More so spot dates and things. But was there a performance that you went to that was very memorable to you?
The one that I was most proud of was when they did the Special Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
I was so just overwhelmed with the whole mood of that performance and the people around, us in that performance. It was just I was like, this is so cool. Like, you guys are really here rocking the Special Olympics. And I mean, just the energy. I will never, ever forget that. I remember watching them rehearse for the Special Olympics, and Prince was very much so like a perfectionist. So I watched rehearsal like 1 billion times, what they were going to do there. But when they got there, it was like 10 times even more exciting and 10 times harder. Like, I mean, MPG as a whole, that whole group, the band, Michael Bland, Tommy Barbarella, Sonny, Levi, Prince, my mom. I mean, that sound that they had as a unit, they were so in sync and so locked into each other, that, I mean, you get spoiled. You get a spoiled ear, and it's no other band greater than when you really hear them hit it. It's like, my God, you guys really, really, really compliment each other. That was like the best that I ever heard any band as a whole play together. They were really in sync with each other and in tune, and it really showed in their concerts and in their work. It really did.
Yes. And so this is interesting. So you say you are a musician or a singer, you do music. Like, what did you learn God, imagine to be young and to sit back and you could watch your mom and Prince and them do their thing. Like, how does that influence you in your music?
Well, it made me really want to strive even harder, because when you're watching perfection, and that's what you have to watch, that's what you have to mimic yourself after. at first you beat yourself up because of course you're not going to be that good. You're not as good as the perfection. So what it did do was give me a drive and a hunger that I never ever satisfied. Even to this day, it's like I'm still trying to reach, that perfection. So I'm very grateful in that manner of it. And it also showed me that, if you dream it, you can do it. I just, I was so amazed just with Prince himself as a whole. I mean, the kind of being that he was very influential, and he was such like a kind soul, even though he was very driven and he was very hardworking, he was very caring. Like, he really cared about people that he worked with around him. He treated everybody like they were family. And he just really showed me that if you want something, you just have to put in the work and you have to keep working. You have to do those restless nights and no sleep and, sometimes hungry, and you have to just keep going. You know what I mean? And so that between him and my mom staying on me with those notes, because I used to do a lot of her background work too. She would stay on me. You're sharp, you're flat, listen, get your tone better. Listen, have your ear need to, be able to hear clearly. And, that kind of thing, it really, really made me not just appreciative, but it really made me strive. I just wanted to be greater and greater every time I got the mic. And so I owe that to my mom and to Prince for showing me nothing but perfection. A rehearsal was like a show. You can't mess up. You think as a musician, you mess up, rehearsal is for messing up. You go on rehearsal and you mess up. No, that was not his mind frame. And that was not my mom's mind frame. Rehearsal was not for messing up. Rehearsal was for elevation, and it was for tightness. And it was like, you can't mess up in rehearsal. Like, it was really like no messing up. You always have to be on it because it's always someone who will be more than happy to take your spot, So it was very humbling, and it kept me leveled and it kept me humble to see that when you are on the top, it takes a lot of work to stay there and to keep recreating yourself and to keep reinventing yourself. And it just gave me a really good insight, on the music industry, not only with the music, but with the business.
Wow, that's a lot of jewels right there. And me being slow, I know some of the listeners will say, did she say had to keep up with Wesley Snipes? But you said Restless Nights.
Oh, yes. I said
just messing with
Nights.
you. I was like, I don't know. Wesley has something to do with this.
No, Restless Nights.
I'm just messing with you.
I love it.
I would watch him do a concert, and then they would come in, maybe have a little snack, and then it was an after party. And the after party sometimes will go on to 4 and 5 in the morning. Because once they started jamming, that was it. They're in a zone, they're jamming, and you could just imagine how tired. And then the next day you got rehearsal. So there's really no sleep. You know what I mean? So It's like show, after party, rehearsal, and then you have to do it all over again.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, I could go all day with you sharing these stories, LaToya, and maybe one day we will. But I do want to say this too. Tell your mother that we love her, and she definitely brought a lot of joy to us through the years. And like you said, that song, Walked on Walk, just that her voice, and you hear it, you just see that joy in it. And that's one of those songs for me that I can play, and it's like when I'm not feeling something or I need to, get myself pumped up. Those are the songs that just that happy, that emotion come through, and that tone in her voice. There's something about Rosie's voice. I don't know. It's like I would equate it to it's kind of like it's got that authoritative, almost kind of, but it's got that motherly warmth in it too. But at the same point, there's a part in it that would, for me, mama's boy, say something, and I straighten up real quick. Like Michael Dean, get you. What a man! There's just a part. There's something in that. You know what I'm saying? Like that just resonates. So I love that. Jacqui,
Yes.
again, we don't want to forget that these T-shirts will be going on sale on Valentine's Day.
That's correct.
With original artwork from Mr. Steve Parke.
That is wonderful. And it's wonderful too. He was so into it because we originally were just thinking, well, let's take a photo and figure out something. And he said, no, I'm going to do, I'm going to take some time on this. And we were like, fantastic. So it's really great. Everybody's stepping up, and it's so sweet of Steve to take his time to do that. But it's for a great, we love Rosie and we wanted to make sure it was done right, so.
Yes, and what's we also we got to shout out to the PRN alumni. What are some other events going on coming up this year that we should know about?
Yeah, well, first of all, we are officially a 501c3 now, so we're really happy about that. That's a big step we've been working towards. So, we have a collaboration with the U of M April 18th. So we put a panel together. It's free. And you can register at princefromminneapolis.org, and that's created by the U of M. They're doing that Prince Symposium. I don't know if you're going to be in town for that, but it's around the celebration time. Yeah. And so they asked us to, and we put a neat panel together. We've got Maite, and I get her name wrong, I think, but it's Satara. She helped with the creating the symbol, his name. Stacia Lang's going to be there. Kim Berry. Harlan Austin, aka Hucky, David Hampton, and Scotty Baldwin, and then moderator Craig Rice. So that's going to be a really great panel there, and it's free. Nice. And so that'll be a lot of fun during that time. So people should register as soon as possible because it's filling up, I'm sure, soon. And then a little sneak peek. We've got our benefit. We did our benefit last year, our first one. We had King on. We are going to do another one in October of this year, October 11th through the 13th. So we've got, I'm not going to tell you who yet, but I'll be back. I know I'll be back on to talk about it, but it's going to be an amazing concert. On that Thursday, we'll do a party on Friday with the family and fams. And also we'll do a panel on special panels on Saturday like we did at the Capri. Unfortunately, we won't be at the Capri this year because they are actually, it's good for them because they're breaking ground on their new $25 million facility for kids in music. But we won't be able to be there because they'll be renovating at that point. But we'll have a cool spot and we'll have a lot of fun. So I'll keep you posted on that. It's going to be great. So.
All right, man. I hope I could be a part of that one too. I'm just saying. But anyway.
I love it.
And also too, Jacqui, you got your hand in a lot of different things, and you also have Revel.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that right now.
Okay. You're not trying to do that work.
No. It's all about the alumni, and it's all about Rosie on this one. Really just excited about these things coming up, and people just coming in and helping and supporting, and really starting to get what we're doing. Is really exciting. And I do want to say we did give our first gift to the music settlement. It's a 100-year-old school in Ohio, and we chose them. They do music therapy for autistic kids. So we're really excited about being able to give lots of money coming up in the next years for kids in music and arts and tech programs and for education. I mean, that's really what it's all about. And obviously
that's
helping
so
support the alumni. So we're really excited.
Excellent. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, okay. Again, just for the listeners to be clear, we're going to all go out and get our T-shirts. We're going to, help support Rosie. We love Rosie. We thank you, LaToya, for coming on here. You look just like your mom.
Thank you.
Down here looking good, sister. Give her props.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm totally honored again to be on this show with you guys, and I want to tell Jacqueline again, I can't say thank you enough to you and to your alumni and everybody who put in hard work and thought about my mom, and and the fans too. I just thank you for all the love and support, to everyone. And man, I'm excited. I can't wait for Valentine's Day to get here. And
I can't wait either.
I can't wait. I cannot wait for my beautiful shirt. Look.
Exactly.
That's what's up. All right.
Michael,
Yes.
One last little thing I wanted to say. We want the community to send their love to Rosie through video. They can send, if they want to do a poem or poetry, or they want to say how they feel about Rosie. And if they want to, they can send their video to love for numerical Rosie at prnalumni.org. So
right.
Love for Rosie at prnalumni.org. And if they want to send videos, we'll be posting those down the line with that. So
got it.
Wow.
All right. And then you just reminded me, as we go out, and hopefully I will play this on the outro as we go, but there was one other thing your mom, I always remember, during the Nude Tour, she would sing, was it Ain't No. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Prince Podcast here on Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean, and joining me today, we got some different people. I'm gonna just call them my new co-host for today. We're switching the show up. We're going with the ladies today. They'll take over. But joining me first off is you heard her before on the show. She's a part of the PRN Alumni. So we want to welcome Jacqui to the show. How are you doing, Jacqui?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. And also we have a special guest here today, a young lady. Her mother's name rings out within the Prince community for sure. We all know that voice. But I'm talking about today, we want to welcome LaToya Gaines to the show. How are you, LaToya?
Hey, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. And of course, your mother, Rosie Gaines, is an icon out here to us. So we salute your mother, and we salute you for coming on and joining us today. So thank you for that.
Oh, it's an honor. I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt. Now, we're actually here talking about the PRN Alumni. You guys have something coming up here in regards to Rosie Gaines. And I think, Jacqui, maybe you can explain it a little better than me fumbling through things here. So.
Oh, you never fumble, Michael. Yeah. No, we had been thinking about Rosie ever since we started this. One of our missions is to support alumni financially and acknowledge their music contribution. And with that, we found LaToya. We'd heard, Rosie had some medical issues, and we really wanted to reach out and help. So got in touch with LaToya, and we started discussing collaboration and I had come up with the idea with the group to create a T-shirt specifically for Rosie to raise money. And we did, I talked to Steve Parke, and he says, I really want to design a shirt for that. So we came up with a T-shirt. Michael, I know you've seen it.
Yes,
in advance.
beautiful.
And yeah, it is, isn't it? It's gorgeous. And so Steve really put really some time into it. And we're really excited on being able to help Rosie any way we can. So we created the T-shirt, as I said, and it's going to launch on Valentine's Day. Obviously, around love, we love her and want her to know that and let her know that through this. So this is this is what we wanted to do. This is the type of things, and this is our mission. One of our missions in the foundation.